Hi, welcome back. I'm talking about a particular topic today on federal security levels within the various facilities that they have across the United States. So there are 4 tiers of security levels. That's basically how much fencing, how secure the buildings are for a particular facility. And I'll start from the bottom and then work my way up. So at the very bottom is a minimum security camp. They're called camps because they usually are satellite locations that are within a different security level, say like a high security prison, and they have a satellite camp that's a minimum security. The minimum security is pretty much anybody can get into minimum security except for people who are charged with sex offenses. So you can actually have a murder case or major financial crimes like millions of dollars, or you could have had a big drug conspiracy charge, right? Pretty much anybody can get into those camps. It's usually how much influence and pull a person may get so that they're assigned a camp versus any other types of security level. They kind of do some assessments of whether this person is dangerous, whether this person poses a security threat. But if you think of all the celebrities that get in trouble, they typically want to be in a minimum security camp. So minimum security camps usually will provide kind of inmate jobs that they're working in other parts of the prisons, like either being the cooks or the laundry people. They're the ones actually providing most of the workforce for these higher security buildings. So that's camp. The next level up is a low security facility, which is similar to the camp in that the perimeter fencing, and minimum security may have no fencing at all, but or light fencing, but low security facilities will have some type of perimeter fence, although it may or may not have barbed wire. The point isn't so much that you can't escape, it's just to define the territory. Obviously, escaping from any security level is going to be an extra charge, but for people in a low security setting, those folks are generally determined by their dangerousness level, how many years they have left on their sentence, and in general, if you have 15 years or less, you're going to be in a low security prison. You'll have folks of all different types of crimes and convictions, whether it's drug offenses, felony armed possession, sex offenses, white collar crimes. All of those, generally you'll have folks from all different types of charges and convictions in the low security setting. The important thing to remember with low security is that these are the folks who are, for the most part, ready to go home. So even though, yes, it sounds like if you have 10 years left, doesn't sound like it's close, but it's a lot closer than the folks who have maybe 20 or 30 years left on their sentence. So people who are in low security, therefore, try to be on their best behavior so that they don't end up getting more charges or their good time taken away. So for the most part, there's going to be less violence, less black market stuff, less gang activity, because people know they're close to going home. So the next security level is medium security. It is up another level. This is at the level in which you have cells, like locked cells, although there may still be some dormitory housing. The 2 lower levels I discussed earlier, they primarily will have dormitory bunk bed setups, and that they're typically not in 1 to 3 man cells that are locked. But in medium security, they are locked. You are going to be in a locked cell with potentially other bunkmates, and you spend the majority of time, when you're not working, locked in those cells, like for example when you're sleeping. There are increased potential for violence in medium security, because these are folks who either are at a higher sentence, where they may be still having 20 to 30 years left on their sentence. That's still a good chunk of time. And then they may also have been charged with some type of violent or hands-on crimes that make them, more likely to fight. So in that particular security setting, you would be concerned about possible threats to your own safety. So, and then lastly is the maximum security, the high security. It's called U.S. State Penitentiary. So the USP is basically the highest level, where they are primarily for people who are the kingpins or the masterminds of like drug cartels, or folks who are convicted of terrorist activities are also put in the USP. Generally, people in USP have very high sentences, between 20 to life, and the potential for violence obviously is going to get pretty high, because these folks pretty much may not ever see the outside of prison during their lives. So there are a lot of chances for people to get in trouble. But as I said before, if you are in medium or high security and you work down your sentence, you do the 10 years, 15 years, you can actually be transferred down to a lower security, which ultimately means safer for you as the inmate. And then you make your way down possibly to even minimum security, which is why I said earlier that even people who are murderers, for example, they can qualify for the minimum security, because they're so close, and they're so close to leaving. And of course, having been incarcerated for potentially decades, they can be trusted to not get into trouble, because otherwise they get into any trouble and they're shot back up to either medium or high security. So in the federal system, there are these kind of different security levels that people are assigned. Like I said, you can go up or down. The goal is obviously to get to the lowest security level, where you get a lot more freedom. You're not in locked cells during, like, when it's lights out and all that. I will tell you personally, I've been assigned low security to a low security facility, which is great, because the prospect of being in a medium wasn't great, but I was kind of assured. And most of the time, your lawyers will know ahead of time whether or not you're going to be in a low or medium security, largely based on your current case, your criminal history. A lot of that is automatically calculated on these kind of tables that look at your offenses and your history, and you can automatically figure out whether or not you're going to go to a medium or high security. So people know in advance. And for the people who are kind of saying like you'll get low and you're not sure, most of the time you are sure. People, if it's their first offense, or it's an offense that generally does not have any enhancements, as in you can't like make it more serious, as they're going to trump up the charges, then most people are guaranteed to be in a low security setting. So that's kind of an overview of the security levels. Hopefully if you have any questions, you can put it in the comments and I'll try to answer them. But definitely it's something that is rather unique to the federal system, which may not be as the same as in the state or county level, where you may have one facility with all the different security levels in one building, maybe in different wings or pods. But in federal prisons, they tend to have everybody in of a specific security level at a particular location. All right, so talk to you guys soon. Bye.